All right, so this is how I make my sermon slides for Sundays. Um, so in the My Events thing on YouVersion, so if you don't remember how to get there, you can just Google YouVersion Live. I'll do it again from the beginning. YouVersion Live. Click that. It's going. All right. You can go up here to create an event. So here's the event that I want to do. So I'm going to click this. It's for June 23rd. I'm going to go over here to preview and publish. And what I'm going to click this and I'm going to select all of these because I want these to be my slides. Then I'm going to copy. So copy. And now I'm going to bring up a text editor. Now a text editor is different from Word. It doesn't have a lot of the formatting that Word does. So what you're going to want to do is, I use Text Wrangler, but Windows has them built in. It's called WordPad or Notepad. Either one will work. You just need to make sure that you save it as a .txt, as a text document. So I'm going to go to New Text Document, and I'm going to paste. Okay, now all I have to do is clean this up. So the title is What Should I Do? 3 in the 1. So all this other stuff I don't need. Take that out. And I'm also going to put in the scripture reference. So 1 Thessalonians. There you go. 5:16 through 18. All right. And then I'm going to hit enter. Now the reason I hit enter is every time there's a blank space, ProPresenter is going to see that and know to make a new slide. So I don't need this in there, so I'll take that out. And I just need one blank space for the next slide. I'm not going to use the New Living Translation on the slides, so I can take that out. I need to take add your private notes out. So that's the scripture I'm using, so I need a blank space. I can take this out. There you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this text document that I made. It's not a .doc or a .docx, it's a .txt. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to import it into ProPresenter. And when I import it into ProPresenter, every time there's a blank line, ProPresenter is going to move to a next slide. So what ProPresenter is going to do is it's going to make all of this stuff one slide, then it's going to go to the next slide because there's a blank line, and it'll make all of this stuff the next slide, then a new slide, and make all of that the next slide. I'm going to clean this up because there should be spaces here. That happens sometimes. You just got to clean it up. Right now I'm going to save it. So File, and I'm going to save. Now when it comes up, you can save it wherever you want. I'll save it. I have a place that I save all of my sermon slide notes like this. I put it in my Google Drive, but you can save it wherever you want. Exponential Church, Sundays. Sermons, and this series is called What? Oh, I called it God's Will inside of here, so there it is, God's Will. All right. Now, this is going to be called, the name of the sermon is 3 in the 1.txt. And you got to make sure you have .txt on the end of it. And I'm going to click Save. All right. Now I've got it. So I can go ahead and exit out of the text editor that I'm in. I'm going to go to ProPresenter and I'm going to bring that up. Oh, I'm using ProPresenter 6. I need to change that. So ProPresenter. All right, it's coming. There we go. I'm just going to click not now to that. All right. So here's ProPresenter. It's up. It's ready to go. I'm going to go to File, Import, Import File. Then I'm going to go to that text document that I made. So I saved it in my Google Drive. Oh, that's being wonky. It's being wonky because normally when I go to a folder, it's there, but since the folder says .txt, that was just a mistake I made a while ago. It's not seeing it as a folder. But all right, let me go fix that real quick. You won't run into that problem. Google Drive. I'm just not a Mac fan. Exponential Church, Sundays, sermons, rename. Why did I do that? Let's try it like this. There we go. All right, now I can do it. So again, back here in ProPresenter, import file. Go to the file that you want to import, and it's that text document that we made. So Exponential Church, Sundays, sermons, God's will. There it is. 3 in the 1 .txt. So when I click that, I'm going to click import. This window is going to come up. Now, slides delimited by. So you have line break or paragraph break. Paragraph break is a blank line. A line break is at the end of each line. It goes to a new slide. I don't want that. I want the paragraph break. I can keep the size is fine because that's what we use at church. Although we could go up to 1080 by 1920 if we wanted, or 1920 by 1080, but we'll keep it at 1280 by 1024. The template I'm going to use, I actually have a template that I use. So what templates are, different sermon series. Sometimes I use different fonts. Sometimes I use different texts. That's all templates are. So for example, like the stories series, I use this font. You can kind of see it right there. It's like big and fancy for title slides, and then I use a smaller font for scripture slides. But you know, you can use. I have just basic ones. It's like the standalones one. I can do it with that. So we'll go ahead and one that I like to use is the elements one. So I'll just go to the elements, and I want my slides to look big at first. So I'm going to click that template one, and now I'm going to import it. Now right here it is right there in the playlist, or not, sorry, in the library, 3 in the 1, and then there's the 3 slides we made. Now if you look at this slide, for example, it's all cut off. Well, this is a scripture slide, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the template, go back to elements, and I'm going to use template 2 inside of the elements template because that's what I use for scriptures. And so I already had the font and everything, the size, so now it's built in to where you can see it. If you want to change up how it looks, you can right click on the slide. You can go to quick edit, which brings up this little thing, and it lets you do quick editing to a slide. I like to go to edit slide, and it brings up this window, and then I can just do a little bit more editing on the slides. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I think the text is a little bit big for this, so I'll go ahead and select all of that and go over here to this A, and I can change the size. So it's 125. That's really big. So let's try 85. That's a little more manageable. So that's a good slide. This is fine too. I might go ahead and put a just a line in there. In fact, with this one, no, that's fine. I'll keep it like that. And then right here, again, that's really big, so I'm just gonna, I'll select everything and I'll make it 85. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, so that's it. And then I will close out of here. And now I've got my slides ready to go. So this is the window of what they look like. Easy peasy. So now what you want to do, if you're making this at home, so let's say Robbie has made this for Scott and he's going to send it to Scott because Scott's going to be managing the computer that runs all of our slides. It's really, really simple to do. What you'll do is you go to File and you are going to export document, and you'll just want to export. You can either export it as ProPresenter 6 or as bundle. Since we're using ProPresenter 6 across all of our computers, it's really easy. You'll click Export Document as ProPresenter 6, just like that. Save it, whatever, you can call it whatever you want. So I'll put it in the same folder, the God's Will folder that I made. So I'm going to click Export. Okay. And then all you have to do, it's really, really simple. You just go into your email, whatever email client you use. We, of course, use Gmail at our church. But all right. So here's my church email account. And let's say I was going to email this to Scott. So I just compose an email to Scott. All right, so this is going to go to, normally it would go to Robert Savoya. I know his name is Scott, but his first name is Robert. But since I'm not sending, since we're just for instructional videos, I'll just send it to myself. And I'll just call it this week's slides. Here you go. All right. Then I go to here to attach file. And I'm going to be putting in, let's go to that file that we made, Expo Church, Sundays, Sermons, God's Will, right there. See that's got a little ProPresenter logo, the 3-in-1.pro6. I'm going to click that, and it attached the file, and then I'll send it. And there you go, popped up. So Scott will go into his email, or whoever's making the slides, and adding them to the church computer. They'll go into their email, click that, and they'll download it. I'll go ahead and download it to the desktop. All right. So then what they will do is they'll go into their ProPresenter, which we already have ours running. They'll go into their ProPresenter, and so let's pretend this wasn't here. I'm going to go ahead and just delete it. Yes, delete that. All right, so he'll have his ProPresenter up. And then what they'll do is File, Import, and what he's going to do is he's going to, again, import file, just like he did last time. Import file, and he's just going to go to that. It's right there. The one that was emailed to him, he'll download it. Remember, we downloaded it to the desktop. So it's right there. We downloaded it to the desktop. 3-in-1.pro6 import. When he imports it, all of the changes that you made into ProPresenter on your end will pop up on his end. So remember, it was called 3-in-1. It'll be there. Or what is it called? The 3-in-1. I guess it should be. Where'd it go? Right there. 3-in-1. And there it is. See? With all of the changes that we had made, it's ready to go. So he just imported what you made in ProPresenter. So that's how to make slides at home and send them to whoever's going to use them, and whoever's going to use them, that's how to import them and bring them into ProPresenter. All right.